you are loved, and you love that baby that you are currently holding. Take advantage of the space-time continuum, because when you do that, that's when you have bioconsciousness. That's when you have psychosomatic effects, because the brain is super powerful. The body is magic. It can do all sorts of things, because when you sit there and convince yourself that you can't do it, you're programming your body not to do it. If you say, you know what, that's it, I'm done with this, I'm gonna get pregnant and I'm gonna do it, no more excuses.
Hola, bienvenidos a nuestro segundo episodio de Manifesting My Blog. En este episodio les voy a presentar a una mujer espectacular que conocí en mi búsqueda para tratar de quedar embarazada y de lograr tener a mi bebé. Ella es Diana Christie. Diana, welcome to Manifesting My Blog.
Thank you so much for having me here. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank you.
I appreciate so much your visit to our house. I'm very grateful for this opportunity the universe is giving me through you. Who is Diana Christie? I would like people can know you and can know how you can impact their life, specifically in regards to having a baby, to get pregnant. How can you help all these women that are outside that probably they are looking at right now? How can you explain there who you are? How can you help?
The name of my business is My Spiritual Rebirth, and it's my purpose to ensure that other people achieve their soul purpose. Why is this important to me? It's because we're all connected and we're all one. And a lot of times in politics, in sports, in television, what do? We're too busy tearing the other person down. We're here to uplift people, and we're here to motivate people. The strongest power is love. If we put love in every single thing that we do, there's nothing we can't accomplish. Why? It's impossible to have two emotions at one time. If you have love and you do everything with love, you can't have fear. The only enemy we have is fear. But if we feel ourselves and we embody love, fear doesn't exist.
Diana, how can we know what is our life purpose? And how can we, through the past life therapy, how can we heal our emotions when we are through a process that is difficult for us? What is our soul purpose? And how can we heal our emotions through past life therapy? Is a type of therapy?
Yes, it is. And I'd like to take this opportunity to explain what past life therapy or past life healing is. So the easiest way to explain past life healing is through quantum physics, because we have the space-time continuum. Within the space-time continuum, the past, present, and future occur simultaneously at one time. Now, that being said, we are energy. We are wave functions. So now we incorporate the time-space continuum. We have superposition, which is where something can exist in multiple times, in multiple places at the same time. So during past life therapy or past life healing, what happens is an individual is accessing a state, whether it's through hypnosis or whether it's through a form of meditation. They're now able to access different lives, and by accessing different lives, they can understand events. Why is this important? It's because what do we do when an event occurs? We're thought, we have to be logical. This happened because of X, Y, Z. But when we are taken to another lifetime and we understand an event, we now can use it, one, as entertainment, or two, an opportunity for healing. Now for the healing aspect, it's, for instance, those who are struggling to get pregnant, did they have their child taken away? For instance, a survivor of the Holocaust who might have watched their children be killed might have been thinking, I should have never had kids and brought them into this horrible world. So now what happens when they're born into, maybe they're 20 years old or maybe they're 30 years old in this lifetime, and they're thinking, I shouldn't bring kids into this horrible world. That's the kind of the subconscious thinking. And then they go and they try to have a baby, and guess what happens? The body works great, but then they miscarriage. The other could be where they have their child taken away from them. Another can be where in different time periods you had forced marriages. This could be where a teenager is basically forced to marry her rapist, because what could happen is a young girl is raped, but then the family doesn't want the shame and embarrassment that she no longer has her virtue. But if she's married, of course it's acceptable for her to no longer have her virtue. So then sometimes she's forced into marriage. So there was these different scenarios, different events that happen in different parts of history where we were either shamed, we were embarrassed, we watched horrific attacks. There were wars where what did men do in different time periods? They raped and they pillaged. They go in, well, now you've got this child that doesn't look like their husband, and their husband is accusing them of having an affair, but during certain time periods, rape was not discussed. And when we go through different events and we're not taught how to deal with the emotions, so then that's where the past life can say, you know what, I was a victim at that point. That was then. I'm not a victim now. I'm empowered now. I'm healthy, and I'm going to embody motherhood. I'm going to feel the healthy child breastfeeding. I'm going to hear my child crying in the middle of the night, waking me up. I'm going to feel the smell of the pee-pee diaper. I'm going to feel and smell the baby when I've just given him a bath and he's all clean and he's all sweet, or when I wake him up and he's all smiles. That's what I'm going to embody. I'm not going to embody this fear. I'm not going to embody this anguish. I'm going to embody the joys of motherhood, the frustrations of motherhood. And that's what's going to be the thing that's going to allow me to thrust into that energy, and not being an energy of I can't get pregnant, I'm not pregnant, or I've miscarried. I've shared with you before, I've had 7 miscarriages. So I understand the physical pain, I understand the emotional pain, I understand the change in emotions. I understand also the spiritual pain, because that's a part of you that is no longer there. But it's through that where we take that opportunity to heal from it, and not to use it as a form of either entertainment or as a reason for us not to continue to get pregnant or not to have a healthy child. That was then. That chapter is closed. So now I'm going to open a new chapter, but how we open it up and that's another process. I'm not going to go into too much detail as to how we deal with the pain and transmute it, because it's not relevant to your objective, but it's through the transmutation, and it's through dealing with the pain, and it's through the transmuting it so that you can close that chapter and open a new one. It's kind of like if you keep reading chapter 1 of Cinderella over and over, you're never going to get to the fairy godmother, and you're never going to get to her going to the ball if all you're doing is reading chapter 1 over and over. And so there's a process for that.
So for a person that is a little doubting about what past life is, or a person that doesn't have any information about this type of therapy, could you please let us know how you obtain this information about their past life experiences?
So one of the best resources, there's a book, and the title of it is Portrait of a Past Life Skeptic. So there was a police detective who went and on, I believe it was a dare, had a past life done, and then he set forth, oh, this is woo-woo, this doesn't exist. So what he did was, he's a police officer, or a police detective, he's able to research, he has access to probably systems that the average person doesn't have, and guess what he did? He was able to find, I believe it was the birth certificate, details of his past life, when I believe it was in that previous life, if memory serves me, he was a woman who actually was a artist. I believe the name was Colleen, if I remember correctly. But the name of the book is Portrait of a Past Life Skeptic.
This special talent or this type of a special gift is something that is all about you, or a normal person can develop this type of intuition, or
what you seek is found within. We all have the answers within us. So that being said, if we just relax and allow, by doing so, this is going to open up channels that is going to give you that information. However, sometimes we have blockages, whether it's due to fear, insecurity, doubt, which prevent us from doing that. So in that case, sometimes it is beneficial to reach out to a past life healer or somebody that does practice past life modality. So I would like to ask you, could you explain the emotions you were having as far as not only the internalization of what you feel like your husband might have been thinking of you, what you were thinking when you went to the grocery store and you saw a woman that's pregnant or that's got 3 kids and a newborn. What was that like for you when you were working so hard trying to get pregnant and you didn't feel successful?
It's very painful to try to, because my husband and me, we did all I think a lot of things that we can do. We traveled to Mexico many times, more than 4 times, to try to conceive, but before this we did a lot of insemination, a lot of medication, so we went through all of the fertility treatments, and the response was negative or a miscarriage. So we as a couple feel devastated. I remember when we went to a fertility consultation, and my husband told the doctor, I feel immoral. I feel immoral. Or demoralized.
Oh, demoralized.
Demoralized.
Yeah.
My husband told the doctor, I feel demoralized.
Oh gosh.
I remember the first time that we decided to do the in vitro, the first in vitro. When we came back and the result was negative, I went to a barber shop to make a blow dry, something like that. I was under all the hormone medication. I was very vulnerable. I saw a father that went to the barber shop, to the salon, to the beauty salon, with his baby, and I started to cry. I think this type of experience, I didn't talk about this with my husband, but it's something very hard. But not just because you as a woman are trying to conceive with your husband, with your couple, as a couple. It's also because as a woman you feel sometimes inferior when you are trying and you see all women that in your family, in your friends, that can have this precious gift, you say, what happened with me? And you feel very, 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 very vulnerable. So I was explaining to you before, I was trying to find a response from God. I was asking me, what happened with me? What happened with us? I know there are many conflicts in our relationship that also need to heal in order to conceive. And we work together for this. For any couple that was having this type of problems, I recommend, I advise them to work together, but in a deeper sense, to try to hear both emotions in order to conceive. So for a couple, a woman that is suffering right now, is living this type of experience, I think there is a lot of information outside, but this is, for me, it was very powerful, because when I went out these days, when we did the sessions, I feel relaxed. I feel that my dream was inside me. I wasn't feeling like in a duality. I was feeling empowered. I was feeling that God has had this gift for me. The first thing and the most important is that you need to believe that you deserve it. You need to believe it, and you help me. You help me in this sense. For that reason, I ask you please to come here and to allow me to explain this to the audience, because when you are through all this process, you think you are alone. You think you are the only person, the only couple that is struggling. But no, there are many, many, many people, many couples that are in the same chapter. So I just want to let the people know that you are there, that you are here for them.
Thank you.
And that they can know how they can reach it.
They can reach me on my website, which is myspiritualrebirth.com. On Facebook, it's Diana Christie. The last name is Christy. And on Instagram, it's My Spiritual Rebirth as well.
Diana, let me ask you, because when we are through all this process, trying to conceive, trying to have a baby, I know we can experiment any type of imbalance between feminine and masculine energy. How can the past life therapy can help a person to balance this type of energy in order to conceive, to become a mother?
In many different ways. In order for us to conceive, which is basically starting a project. So what do we do when we start a project? You have to have the image of what we want in the material. So whether that's a baby that needs a sperm and an egg, or even a painting that requires canvas and paint. But what must we have? We have to have a vision. If we have a vision and we have the material, but what happens when it doesn't give us the product that we want? What is the natural thing for us to do? We internalize. We take emotions, we take negative past events, we tie them to our emotions. But when we go through the past life and we're able to identify, I'm feeling this because of this specific emotion that happened during this time period. Now I'm able to address it. Now I'm able to clear it. Now I'm able to heal from it. And then from healing comes empowerment. So what happens when we're empowered? Break down the word. We now have power. We're no longer a victim. We're no longer in a place of any negative emotions such as fear or anxiety. We're empowered. What is the thing that we're empowered most with? Faith and love. Because I know that you and your husband created that beautiful baby with nothing more than love. And it's that love that helps transmute any fear, anxiety, negative emotion. And through the past life, when we're able to understand, oh my gosh, I've had a fear of this, but I never understood why. And you're now able to have that understanding. We can accept. Self-acceptance is one of the most powerful things we can have, because what happens? In so many places, we're told not to accept ourselves. You see people on TV that have been altered by AI. You have photos that are photoshopped of these perfect models. We're bombarded day after day with we're not good enough, whether that's from a health perspective, an athletic perspective, a mental perspective. We're constantly bombarded with we're not enough. Validation comes from within. It doesn't come from a supplement. It doesn't come from a brand. It doesn't come from anywhere else, but from within. When you accepted yourself and you said, I know I can get pregnant and I'm going to address these emotions and I'm going to move forward, that was a decision that took a lot of strength, that took a lot of bravery, because when we have fear, what do we have to do? We have to push that fear aside. You had a lot of strength, you had a lot of power to sit there and say, fear, no more. And you pushed it to the side, and then you walked past it with the focus of love. And now you have the product of that beautiful baby.
Thank you.
Of that love.
Thank you. Diana, if you can tell a woman that is watching this episode, if you can give this woman or this couple any type of mantra or any type of affirmation in order for them right now to feel more calm, more safe.
I would say you are loved and you love that baby that you are currently holding. Take advantage of the space-time continuum. When I say that, that means you feel the weight of that baby. You feel that diaper getting heavy as you hold it. You smell that diaper as it gets heavier. You feel that the baby's breath that smells like your milk. It's a matter of you embody it with your mind, with your spirit, and with your soul. Because it's when you do that, that's when you have bioconsciousness. That's when you have psychosomatic effects. Because the brain is super powerful. If you sit there and have a negative experience from a miscarriage and you you con yourself into believing you can't get pregnant, what's the brain going to do? Well, we can lower the progesterone. That way the egg's not going to implant to the uterus and it's not going to support the pregnancy. We can lower the cholesterol. By lowering the cholesterol, the pregnancy can't be supported. We can also alter the pH of the lining of the uterus. The body is magic. It can do all sorts of things, because when you sit there and convince yourself that you can't do it, you're programming your body not to do it. If you say, you know what, that's it, I'm done with this. I'm going to get pregnant and I'm going to do it. No more excuses. I'm done with all this. I don't care what the doctors say. There's been many women that got pregnant despite what the doctors said. The mind is powerful. Do you know why the mind is powerful? Because it's the mind that connects to the collective consciousness. It's the soul that connects
to the divine, mind, body, spirit. You do, in the Bible it says, ask and you shall receive. It doesn't say ask and if you have mercy, ask if you think I'm worthy. It says ask and you shall receive. Asking is not begging. Asking is a demand. It is a command. God, source, Pachamama, creator, whatever you want to call him, her, whatever. I want a baby. Bless me with a baby. Thank you so much for blessing me with a baby. And then you live and you act and you breathe as if you're already pregnant. That means you're buying your prenatal vitamins. You're abstaining from alcohol. You're not getting in a car where somebody's smoking, because you're already protecting that life that's inside of you. You gotta live, eat, sleep, that you're pregnant with a healthy baby. Because it's when we embody it, that's when we get it. And you don't allow naysayers, because some people are not happy with themselves, and what do? They like to talk down on others. Well, you've had miscarriages in the past. Well, this hasn't worked. Don't even tell people.
Just embody it. And then when that baby comes out, what can they do? They can't do this anymore.
So in your opinion, it's better to go through this process in silence?
In silence, unless you have special people in your life that you know are going to uplift you and motivate you. Because not everybody does. Because you have, unfortunately, people that are jealous, that are insecure, that don't know how to handle their own emotions. So only tell those that you know are uplifters, that are motivators, that are going to be the ones to smack you and say, I'm not tolerating this from you. You're not being the best version of yourself right now. You're going to get pregnant. So stop playing the feel sorry for me game. We're gonna go shopping for baby clothes, and we're gonna go and make sure that you are in a place to where it is going to do nothing but create an environment that's going to support a pregnancy on the inside, so that it can then be reflected on the outside.
It's based on my experience in my family, they were programming to think that I will not be a mother. I will never be a mother. Not because they want this happen to me. No, I don't know right now. Just them. But if they are watching, or they are seeing you don't get pregnant, you try, they are programming to think that you never will be a mother. But I think you need to separate, take your space, and say, I believe it. It doesn't matter what others believe, but I believe it. I believe that I was a source from God. I have the divine power inside me, and I believe every day, every single day, every night. I believe, even in my most hard time, I believe it. When I had the miscarriage, my husband told me, "Where is God?" He asked me, "Where is God?" I know there are many families that are asking right now the same question. And I remember I told him, I believe in God. I think this is that I need to live, but I believe. I think that you cannot renunciate to the divine power, because it's like limiting yourself.
Yeah.
This is just my experience, but maybe it can help any other woman to inspire them to think, to believe that they have this power. You are here for them. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful that you are here with me. Diana, let me ask you another question because I have many other questions. What is the most common emotional blockage?
The most common emotional blockage is that they're told in a previous life, for instance, it could be when they're either pregnant or when they're given birth, this is for women, is they're shamed for it. So let's say if they're unwed, and let's say if it's a sexual assault, or it's a case of where she was put in a position that she should not have been. For instance, sometimes women were treated like cattle in certain situations. Oh, well, let me offer my daughter to you, and then now all of a sudden, because she's unwed in a previous life or in another life, now she's being shamed for it. Now pregnancy has a connotation of this is a bad thing. The other thing is being told she's a bad mother, because there can be circumstances where there's jealousy, mother-in-laws, different beliefs, different values, and in that life where she's being judged for the type of mother she is, and then she's constantly being told she's a bad mother. So now you have two instances. One is where being pregnant is a bad thing, and two is where she's a bad mother. So now you take these belief systems from different lifetimes. Now you're in this life. The soul carried this energy into this body. Now what is your body going to do on a subconscious level? Oh, I can't get pregnant because I'm a bad mom. I'm a bad mom. And then what does the brain do? It creates whatever issues for you not to. Or being pregnant is a bad thing. It's nasty. It's looked down upon. Even though she wants to, because maybe she's married, whatever her circumstances is, but she was conditioned that her being pregnant was a shameful thing, and it was a thing to be looked down upon, and it was an embarrassment. Even after you had the painful miscarriage, what made you so strong? What gave you the faith and the power to try to have, to try to get pregnant again?
Yes. When something that happened to me that inspired me, it was like a revelation that told me that you deserve it if it happened, was that I have a dream. Some many years ago, when I started fertility treatment, I have a dream. My husband and me were in a ship traveling, and instantly we saw a baby boy that was abandoned. It was abandoned, and we started running all over the ship, finding their parents, and the baby parents didn't appear. And I was like very crazy that how they abandoned this baby. After we run all the ship, we received a phone call, and in the phone call, a voice told me 3 times the names of my baby. Answer. I awake like, what happened? But it was a different dream. Sometimes you have dreams, but maybe you don't identify what happens in the dream. You are not entirely involved or engaged in this dream. But this type of dream was like a Bible revelation for me. And I believe that it will happen. So when I have the miscarriage, when the pregnancy test made me know, I say I will try until I have my baby to my home. When I wake up from this dream, I search the name's definition, the meaning of cancer's definition, and I search on Google and says the gift of God. Cuban people are very skeptical I don't know in English.
Yeah, you said it correctly.
Skeptical. People in Cuba think, or in my family, for example, my mother think, you need to see to believe. And this experience showed me that first you need to believe to see. So I attached to this house, I attached to this belief. And past life therapy and other type of meditation, other type of therapy for heal my emotions, heal my thoughts, allow me to reprogram my body, my soul, my spirit. And finally, even after many obstacles, to have my baby. So this was my experience, and I appreciate what you do. And I know you can help a lot of women, a lot of couples that are there. For example, me and my husband, we feel very alone all of these years. We try to travel, to do different things, but inside we were feeling alone. Sometimes you don't have anyone that come to you and that say, you can do it, you deserve it. And what you do is very valuable for me, and I know it's very valuable for our family that are struggling right now. And I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you describe me, Diana, how happened a typical session, a typical past life session? I remember you used with me some stones, some crystals. Before the therapy session started, we went to a tree in Coyle Square that they are beautiful. You teach me how to connect with nature, how to connect with the tree, to receive or to be more receptive to the natural energy. Can you describe how a typical past life session happened?
Yes, so the first thing I will do is I will make sure that you're properly grounded, because when you came to me, you were very nervous. You had a very nervous energy. You were anxious, and you were talking very fast. Not because you're Cuban, but because you had that anxiety that was within you. And so in order for me to be successful at the past life, I need to make sure that you are in a state of success, which is going to be calm. So when I took you out to the tree, what I did was I had you be barefoot and I had you touch the tree. And by touching the tree, what this does is this closes a circuit. Everything is energy, energy is everything. And by doing so, what happened was this allowed all the positive ions that are built up inside of us to be discharged into the ground. That's literally why we call it grounding. And by doing so, and by having you connect to the tree and feel the power and strength, fertility, and power of the tree, it was able to help calm you. Then when I brought you indoors, what I will do is I'll put you in a very relaxed state. I will use material object. Again, we're energetic beings. So in order for me to connect with you, I have to have some sort of material object that has certain frequencies. Because if I say you're an energetic being, just acknowledge it. How many people are going to do it? Very, very few. But so for what it does is it allows your mind and your body to concentrate on that crystal or that stone while you're holding it. And because your mind is now distracted by that, what happens? Now I'm able to connect with your energy, with your soul. So by doing that, I'm able to change your frequency that you're in and get you into that calm state. And when you're in that calm state, I can now use your emotions, such as anxiety and fear, and get you to go back to that specific life where it's most relevant. Fear of not being pregnant, fear of not having a baby. And by doing that, you're able to say, okay, this is coming from this specific event. Now, once we do this, then We can perform a etheric cord pulling. I don't cut cords, I pull cords. It's kind of like if you see a dandelion outside. I love dandelions. They have a lot of medicinal uses, but people consider them weeds. If you cut that dandelion, what's going to happen in a week? You're going to still have a dandelion there. But if you go in and pull it out by the root, 2 weeks, 6 months, you're not going to have a dandelion because you've gotten to the root of it. So that's why I will actually pull cords. I don't cut them. But by doing so, you also have to go in and change the mindset belief system. So I'm trained in order to be able to do that. So by changing the belief systems on top of the energetic, now we're able to at least remove that negative energy. So again, energy is everything, everything's energy. You take something out, you got to put something back in. So that's when I'll bring in the energetic healing. So I'll facilitate the healing that, and then the new belief system. And then I always allow the client to choose between manifestation and soul purpose. And the reason why I allow them to choose between the two of them is a lot of times they're seeking something, and a lot of times, in about 80% of my clients, they don't know what they want to choose until towards the end of the session as to whether or not soul purpose or manifestation, because they're torn. But when they're in that meditative state, what you seek is found within. Everything you want to know is within. So even though you had to come to me for the past life, all I did was open that door for you. It was already within you. All I did was facilitate. You were the one that did the work. You were the one that went and accessed those memories. When I gave you the instructions as far as to move or change or shift belief systems, you were the one doing that. All I did was facilitate. The power is within you.
Thank you. I recommend this beautiful book that Diana wrote, and she give it to me. I'm so grateful about your book. I will leave the book's name in the description in order for you to obtain it if you think they can help you. Diana, in this book, how can you let know a person that is struggling to identify when we are affected by our own emotions and when we are affected by others' emotions? Sometimes, as you explained right now, we had all of these system beliefs that don't belong to us. How can you explain this topic in your book?
So I have the book broken down into 3 main segments. One is I explained how we're energetic beings, and that being said, we're all empathic to one way, shape, or form. What is an empath? An empath is someone who feels other people's pain or emotions as their own. So I break it down into the 6 different types of empaths, and then from there I explain how being empathic is also a gateway into other spiritual gifts. So we might have healing abilities. We might be able to sense the future. We might be able to sense other entities, for instance, loved ones that have crossed on. We might have the ability to remote view other locations. We might have the ability of telepathy or telekinesis. But we all have spiritual gifts, and we have these gifts for a reason. And the reason is to guide us to our soul purpose. We are all here to motivate, to uplift, and to serve others. And our spiritual gifts are here as a way of guiding others. So for instance, with you, you're a super empath. So what this means is if you're able to feel one of your husband's relatives' emotions, and by doing so, you don't realize that those emotions are coming from a relative. All you're knowing is you're feeling emotions coming from him, and then you might internalize these emotions. And then from your internalization, you might accuse him of something he hasn't done, or something he hasn't thought, or something he hasn't felt. Just because it's natural for us to internalize, because we're trained we must be logical what's coming from him, whereas it could come from one of his relatives. I'll give you another example of you're also a translator empath. So this means you have the innate ability to know the other person's wants and needs. So if you're out to dinner with friends, you might know someone that's hard of hearing, and you might say, oh my goodness, the music is too loud, they're not going to be able to participate in conversation. And then you're going to propose, hey, the weather is great, let's go outside, and the food always tastes so much better outside. But what you've done is you've made sure everybody in the environment is in a place where they feel comfortable and they feel included. And you've done it in a form of advocating for that person. Now, when you were a child, what probably happened was you told your mom or somebody, hey, Auntie can't hear, so we need to be away from the loud music. But as we get up older, then what do? We then advocate for that person. That's how you can tell the children that are the translator empaths. Because what do the children do? They're the most honest beings we have on earth. If you want to know the truth, go ask a child. They will tell you how fat you look. They will tell you. They will tell you how bad your cooking is. But on a serious note, that's how you can tell if a child is a translator, but they will end up learning, oh, I can't say that. So I need to now protect other people's feelings. But they will advocate on others on their behalf. So a lot of times these people will go into special needs, elder care, sometimes child services, but they will go into some sort of profession that will help them be able to advocate. So the book also helps with understanding your soul purpose, but it also gives a little bit of guidance on career path. It doesn't go into a whole lot of detail because that's not the purpose, but that kind of summarizes the book in the way it can be applied. And the other thing is, within our soul purpose, the greatest gift we have is the gift that we have within. That is our soul, because nothing can guide us more accurate, more stronger, and better than your own soul. I can provide you guidance,
but what's going to guide you the most is your own soul. And so it's when we practice using internal validation and we let go of external validation is when our path is going to be lit up for us as if we're walking on a path of gold. And that is the premise of the book, A Guide to the Gift Within. What you seek is found within.
Thank you so much. Thank you.